Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the Give and Go podcast again tonight, night before round two of the Shore Conference tournament. Unsure if any of the Coaches Cup games got played today due to weather of the first round. I have not seen any scores roll in yet. Today we're going to do predictions for the next round. We have another special guest from Pinelands, Coach John Tierney. Coach took over the girls program this season. He is their football coach and he is their flag football coach. So, Coach, thank you for joining me today, or
Thank you
joining
guys
us
for
today.
having me. It's an absolute
Joining
pleasure
me.
to be out here.
Jeez. Thanks, Nick.
So, first question, before we get into basketball. How, knowing you were, you coached at Rainey as the assistant coach, how was their transition, from boys to girls?
I think I had a nice little leeway because I coached the girls' flag football team, so I knew what to expect out of the girls. Obviously, it's much different, especially in preparation, like on the bus rides. The first couple flag football games are sitting there, they're doing their hair, they're worried about their eye black, and I'm going nuts. I'm like, that's just them, and that's what they do, and that's how they get into the game. On the boys' bus, it's quiet, or you're playing your music and nobody's talking. The girls just completely different in that way, but I'll tell you what, I'm having a blast coaching girls. They are attention to detail oriented. I'll tell you that much.
Now, going from boys to girls, but going from a program where you won so much at Ranny to taking over a program that hasn't won much, um, you know, and I went to your game last week. The girls played their butts off. They worked, they listened to you, but, you know, how much of an adjustment was that going from, national power to trying to build something at Pinelands who hasn't been competitive for a while?
So at first, I came in, I had all these great ideas for what offensive plays we're going to run, what defense we're going to run. And about 3 games into the season, I said, you know what, we just have to go back and we just have to learn how to play basketball. And we're doing a lot more 5-out motion. We have 1 or 2 sets in, but all in all, it's basketball. And you're on the floor for 2 hours a day of practice, and you're just trying to get the girls better. You're just trying to see some type of little improvement, whether it's getting ready to play Bergen Catholic in the TOC, or if it's getting ready to play Ocean last night. All you want to do is see improvement at game to game, and I've seen tremendous strides so far. So I think the future's bright. We play 8 freshmen, so it'll be nice to see them come along. And my seniors have been great, so can't ask enough about a senior class like I have with them.
Now, how many of the girls? I mean, you got a lot of freshmen, so you wouldn't know yet for flag football, but a lot of multi-sport athletes on the basketball team,
So no, I mean there's a bunch of soccer players,
soccer
a
players.
bunch of good soccer players we have. I think probably the most we pick from is soccer. I had 5 or 6 soccer players, but I did not get a lot of the girls' flag football out for it. A lot of them are volleyball players. I guess the winter is the club volleyball season,
Yeah.
so a lot of them are doing that. Um, and we have a very good drama department down there, so girls are doing that. And I'll see them again in 2 weeks when flag football starts.
Now, I got one flag football question for you. How exciting is it to see how quickly it's been expanding in the Shore Conference with schools picking up programs?
It is just, and just not just a short conference. It's all over the country. I mean, I cannot tell you how excited I was the other night when they did the flag football commercial on this that game that was being played. I don't even know who was playing in that game, but the most exciting part of my night was the girls' flag football, and it was like, oh my God, this is so awesome because it's just getting to another level. I saw a stat the other day. I think the growth is like 3,000% in girls flag playing flag football in high school. So, the fact that we were one of the first programs in the Shore Conference with it, it was just great. I was able to be part of the first Shore Conference Girls All Star game and the Girls State All Star game up at the Phil Sims, and it was great just to be part of
Well,
that.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but since you opened the door, I wasn't being a Giants fan in a house full of Philly fans as they won the Super Bowl.
It was a little. My phone was going off the hook, with the text messaging and this, and are we going to the parade? Are we getting Super Bowl champion shirts? And it was a little tough.
Listen, I'm a Jets fan. I have nothing to root for, so I can only pick on people that win.
We're gonna to start off before we get into predictions. We're gonna talk some PowerPoints. I talked to a coach from South Jersey, very successful coach, and he was his concern was strength of schedule really doesn't mean anything anymore, and how right now that current team is a 1 seed, and he might actually drop winning the next 2 games. So, flat on football, I know basketball just came out with the notice that you're not jumping if you want head to head. Football, you can jump for head to head. Is that correct?
Yes, football you do jump head to head, which I think is just only right.
Yeah, I agree. And is football similar where the strength of schedule really didn't matter this season?
So no, football actually the strength of schedule matters a lot, and there's a number they use. It's like an SI number, your strength index, and basically, for lack of a better term, it's almost like they have um, a game line. So if you have a 52 PowerPoint and you play a 45, but you only lose by 3, you can capture their PowerPoints and you get 2 extra, OSIs. And I have a guy on my staff who figures it all out. He's like, Coach, we need to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, okay. Basically, what it comes down to there is you need to win football games. But it's like you said with the you don't get as much for playing powerhouse teams anymore than you used to. So
Yeah,
there's a whole different formula.
yeah, this coach, his concern, is, and going forward with like RBC and SJV, nobody's going to want to play those teams if you don't get those extra points for playing such a strong team. And he said, "What's the benefit of me? Where I'm going to go in, probably going to lose, and we're not going to get any. I'm going to lose points. Instead, I could schedule somebody, where we're pretty even, we're going to win. I'm going to maximize my points." So that was just one of his concerns he sees going forward if something's not changed. And he could see where schools like SJV, RBC are going to struggle to pick up games in state. And, I know Coach talked to Coach Montana earlier this season before they played St. Rose. And, he said, it's tough to schedule games in state. I know Dawn's ran through that problem the last, 8 years probably. So it's just something they need to look into, on the basketball aspect.
I think the
I mean, I was
problem
trying to.
is,
Oh, sorry.
oh no, sorry, go ahead.
When I was trying to go through our PowerPoints of where we would have been when I was at Ranny, and I think we would have been like a 7 or 8 seed that year because even though we were 31-2, we played out so many. We played 6 out of state games, and they only would have gave you 8 PowerPoints for it, or eight wins. So playing a team like South Central down in North Carolina, or playing a team like Montverde, no, there's zero benefit whatsoever. I mean, it was coincide with beating a team like a Pinelands because they had 8, 9, 10 wins, but they were Group One, so it was like, why go schedule these games? I mean, except like I talked to Matt Bloom, who's the head coach at Rutgers Prep, and he says just to get ready for the postseason. He says, doesn't matter what seed we are, we're just
Yeah.
getting ready for the postseason.
Yeah, and that's going to hurt teams like SJV and RBC because, you know, they have nationally ranked players on their team. So they want to try to play as tough a schedule as possible. If nobody wants to play them in state, they have to go out of state. Then they're only going to get PowerPoints based on the team being 8-8, when the team could be 27-0, number one in the country, beat them, and they're going to get at PowerPoints or an 8-8 team. So, you know, good luck to them trying to schedule teams in state that are good because nobody's going to want to play them.
Yeah. So, yeah. So all things that, the NJSI needs to look into this, going forward, because look at RBC, they were sitting 13th, 14th for the first month of the seeding in the short conference seedings because of PowerPoints. And it wasn't until they really got into their division play that they started moving up the rankings to where they
Meanwhile,
are.
they beat a couple ranked number one ranked teams in different states,
Mm-hmm.
but they're sitting 13th in the short conference. Doesn't make sense.
So, all right, that's our event for the PowerPoints. Now, let's get into exciting stuff. Short conference tournament. Round one, we'll just go over what happened yesterday in round one before the snow really kicked in yesterday. Colts Neck defeated Freehold 47-33. It was a close game at halftime. I think it was a 3-point game at halftime. And then Colts Neck kind of turned it on in the second half. Barnegat beat Freehold. That was a game of runs. There was 2 big runs, one by Freehold in the second quarter, and then Barnegat came out at halftime really, really strong and took it to Freehold. Freehold was able to go on another run to tie it. The biggest lead of that game was 8. Freehold was able to chip that away and get that back tied, but Barnegat held on, without one of their star players, Emma Thornton. Next game, Holmdel versus Brick. upset there, 20 seed Homedale, who, they thought they were in the Coaches Cup and they got moved up because a team elected out of the Shore Conference tournament. 51-54, 44, Brick, very young team. Homedale, another young team, one senior and a bunch of freshmen. Brick, one senior, two seniors and a bunch of freshmen. So Homedale will be moving on to play RBC in the second round. Shore defeated Middletown. A little of a lopsided game, 44-24. Shore will go move on to play St. Rose, the 3 seed. And the last game, Neptune, Lacey. I think it was a close game in the first half, and then did Neptune break it open in the second
Yeah, in
half?
the second half.
So Neptune defeated Lacey. You're familiar with Lacey. You've played them. So Neptune played a 2 seed SJV. So let's start 1 seed. Manasquan, the 1 seed, undefeated in the Shore Conference play this season. They haven't lost any Shore Conference teams. Beat St. Rose twice. That really helped clinch that number 1 seed for them. They play Colts Neck, the 16th seed. Doug, I'll let you start. Any notes? And I know you're.
Colts Neck in their game yesterday, we talked about, Jacino's their leading scorer as a freshman, and Donahue, and I'll still say I think Katie Dichter is one of the best point guards on the Shore, but all 3 of them put up double digits yesterday, which hasn't always been the case for them. But Manasquan's defense it's a totally different animal. They're going to be all over them on that court that, the fans are right on the court. I just think Manasquan's going to win pretty big.
Coach?
Yeah, I agree with Doug on this one. They're so well coached. They're so athletic. They're just that court is tough to play on. Even though the last time I was there, we won. That game, I see Manasquan walking into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and Manasquan, they're a very deep team too. She could go 10 deep and not lose anything on the court. 1 through 10, very strong. I don't, Manasquan moving into the quarterfinals, easily. I see in that game. 8-9 seed. Both teams had a bye. Trinity Hall and Rumson at Trinity Hall, another small gym. Doug, what are your comments on this game?
Well, they played earlier in the season, second game of the season.
Yeah.
Trinity Hall won by 12, 43-31. Rumson's been playing really well, though. And I've seen Trinity a couple of times. One time they play lights out. The next time they struggle a little bit. Little inconsistency there. Same with RFH, though. Little inconsistency with them. But if you go by past performance, 12-point win by Trinity, I think I'll take Trinity to go to the quarterfinals.
Okay. Coach?
Yeah, I'm also going to agree. I think Trinity is, they've had some good battles with Rowdy this year so far. They beat Rumson earlier on in the year. I think they're well tested. I see them in a close game coming down to the wire, but home court should be an advantage playing on that court. And I see Trinity by about 3 or 4.
I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna go Rumson. I think Notine playing a little more consistent the last couple games, leading team score in the last game. Get her going, and Aaron Reed's been phenomenal all season. I just see a little more consistency on the offensive end. Rumson with those 2 players, so I'll take Rumson. Maybe final possession, Aaron Reed off a screen and knocks down a shot. Next game. What's that?
Run the picket fence.
Listen, I stopped putting scores down for these games because my picks alone were so bad the other day. I'm not even picking scores. I'm lucky to pick a winner.
Yeah. Next game, Red Bank Regional, Barnegat. Barnegat coming off that tough back and forth game against Frio Township, against RBR, who's also battling some injuries. I do think Zoe is going to be good to go, but Sinai is still out.
Both of these teams coming in a little injury plagued. Red Bank's been pretty consistent all year, even without Sinai. They played okay. Barnegat, in this kind of game against Holloway, Thornton would be a big asset. And I think they're really going to miss that part of the game. I think it'll be close, but I think home court Red Bank will pull it out.
Coach?
Yeah, I think two excellent coaches. I mean, JT is one of the best in the Shore Conference. I think Emma being out this game just definitely hurts Barnegat. I think that would be a major difference. And I think just the experience that Red Bank has had in these type of situations, I think it will be close going into the third quarter, but I think Red Bank will pull away. But I see like a 6 or 7 point game.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with Red Bank. Barnegat, Emma's out. Riley Fitzpatrick, she's a little banged up. She was a workhorse in the opening round, responsible for getting the ball, handling the ball, getting the ball over midcourt, setting up the plays. Some big shots in the second half, big three, sealed at the foul line. Zamir going up against somebody, probably bigger than her. So her 33 points is not going to come as easy against RBR. And, JT will have a good game plan for her and trying to limit her athletic ability. So I'm going to go with RBR as well in that game.
JT's very good at taking away the other team's strength.
Yes.
So, he's going to try to neutralize Enols as best he can.
Yeah. Next game, the 20 seed Homedale against RBC. They've met a couple times. I don't know, Doug, do you have the scores for did they?
Yeah, they lost by 31 and 42.
Okay.
So if they play a little better, they might lose by 28. But I really don't think there's any much I need to really say about this game. I think RBC wins pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with this one. I think Homedale had a great win in the first round, but I don't think the magic continues, and RBC is on a different level.
Yeah, and I think RBC is on a mission this year. They're the team to beat in the Shore Conference, so they'll easily move on to the next round. We have Shore, the 14 seed, traveling to St. Rose, the 3 seed. They did not play this season, I don't think.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
They did not.
All right, Doug, some interesting. The last round with who the leading scorers for Shore. In the first round.
The Kimmy, I think, had 5 points. Reese had 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Will got some scoring from players he probably didn't expect to be their leading scorer. But that's against Middletown North. Going against St. Rose is a different story.
Mm-hmm.
St. Rose is probably a little upset that they lost to Manasquan twice. So I think they're going to come out really hungry. The games I saw Jada play, there was somebody there that could match her physically, and they gave her fits, but Shore doesn't have that player. So I think Jada has a big game, and St. Rose has a big game.
Coach,
I'm gonna agree. Jada's a different player, but she's freaking good. I love watching her play. And again, it comes down like that gym is a tight gym, and their fans gonna be on them. And I see St. Rose pretty easily in this one.
Yeah, you got a girl-boy doubleheader tomorrow in that gym, so it's going to be packed.
Yeah, so Jada's going to have her dad watching her. She's going to go off, and but they're going to try to sweat the people out, the visitors again. About 130 in there last week when I went to that game.
Next game, I think could be a very interesting game. 6 seed Howell hosting Toms River East, the 11 seed. Coach Cohen just got his 300th win yesterday. So, Doug, what do you think of this game?
Yeah, congrats to Coach Cohen. Been at it a long time, doing a great job. I'll give you 2 numbers. Toms River East lost to Manchester 44-40 in the last 2 games and beat Central 39-37.
Mm-hmm.
That going into a tournament does not bode well for them. They had a great season. Maybe the grind is getting to them a little bit, but those last 2 games give me a little pause in picking them. How will we know? The Twin Towers, but Bella Rose Marino's been playing really well too.
Yeah.
So if they can get those three going, I think Howell wins this one.
So my first scrimmage at Pinelands was against Tom's Reese. I think they're extremely well coached. They played a really tough 1-3-1 to start out the year. But like Doug said, those last two games heading into the tournament, tells you a lot. I think it will be close. I think Tom's Reese will play well. I got Howell by about 8 or 9.
I agree. Tom's a Reese, young team. Grace Crowley, the only returning starter this year. She's great on the defensive end. Could maybe slow down one of the two Twin Towers, but then you got the other one. And like you said, Bella Rose this last year more outside shooter and didn't drive as much this year, going to the hoop more aggressively, which has really helped her game and has helped Howell. And Tom's Reese always plays strong defense, but Howell's always well prepared on the defensive end too. So I see Howell moving in to the quarterfinals on Saturday. 7-10 game. Fun game. Two teams that met at the Coaches vs. Cancer at Donovan. You got the 7 seed Rainey and the 10 seed Point Borough.
Point Borough had them in that game. We watched it. We thought maybe that was going to be their breakout game, the one game where, I said all season they're very senior laden team. Dave's doing a good job with them. But they need that one win to get over the hump, to get the confidence that they can beat a big team. And a couple times this year, they had the lead and kind of let down in the second half. Same thing happened with Ranny. Ranny's been playing really well. Poser can go off for 30 whenever she wants. They can neutralize Ashley a little bit, I think, with their physicality inside with Hen. But I think Randy wins. It's going to be close. I think maybe 4 or 5 points. And, you want to see Burrow get over the hump at some point, but I just don't see them beating Randy this time.
Coach?
Yeah, again, we're going to talk about a little home court advantage, and Randy always does a great job. The times I was there when they're in a short conference, they got the band playing in the corner. It's a loud gym. It's a tight gym. Poser is just awesome. I used to love going and watching her practice. She was just a stud to watch practice, and I got to see her for 3 years up there. Coach Lenny does a great job. We'll have our girls ready. So does Dave. But I just see, the experience of Randy coming through here. And, Haley, I think, is just going to lead them to victory no matter what. I see Randy in a tight one, maybe by about 4 or 5.
I'm going to go with you guys. Agree with you with Randy. Prager, they got Mela too on the defensive end, so they got 2 tall bigs on Burrow that could try to slow Prager down. But Haley, she could score inside, outside, and if she's on for outside, it was very tough. Vanessa Haas, she's having a great season for Burrow. Hopefully she could keep that going. But yeah, I think Rainey, hopefully Point Burrow, they made a few mistakes like they did against Rumson in the WOBM, a couple turnovers, just throwing the ball into the middle of the lane where there was no real option. We saw the same thing against Rainey. But I'm gonna go with Rainey this game too. Last game, 15 seed Neptune, traveling up to SJV, which is another gym not fun to.
No, not fun to play in. But Neptune had the advantage in the first game against Lacey with the home court advantage. But heading up to SJV, who, like Dawn's probably really, upset that they lost to RBC twice this year. And I think she's really going to take it out on some teams in this tournament. And I think Neptune's the first one.
I'm going to agree. I think, again, just different levels. Neptune's had a great season so far, and a big first round win at home, but different animal. I think the top 6, 7 seeds are just different animals, and same thing with this game.
Yeah, I agree. Neptune's played very well, especially since their freshman Howard's come off the injured list. But SJV is a different animal. They're very physical on the defensive side of the ball. They got several options on the offensive side of the ball. And Neptune has 0 height. that's going to be able to stop Lockhart or Sofokanic. So SJV move on convincingly into the next round. So I'll take a look to see if any of the Coaches Cup games played today. We could talk about that briefly.
Yeah.
Brackets.
Yeah.
Coaches Cup.
I wonder if they played. I looked at the schedule and it didn't show any of those games being played. But
Yeah, there's no scores in, and two of the games were 4 o'clock start, so they would have had them in. So, I mean, one was down here in Donovan, so the weather down here, they might have canceled that early and pushed it to tomorrow. And Monmouth, New Egypt. Are you a fan of the Coaches Cup having two tournaments?
I am, but I'm not a fan of teams who aren't 500 not getting into the short conference tournament.
Okay.
You know, I understand. I understand why they're there. I understand why the tournament's there, but I think like boys basketball, Pinelands. They had a great year this year. They're 11-7 right now, and this will be their third time in the short conference tournament. I think they should have the right to go play in that tournament.
it's when you and I were growing up, John, it was any team that was 500 short conference tournament and state tournament by the cutoff. You're 500, you're in.
Well, no. So I was in the short conference. It was when I was playing. It was only 16 teams.
Oh well, okay, so I'm older than you. Thanks for shouting me out there.
No. But no. Remember, like it used to be the six. If you were 500, you didn't automatically get in.
Right, 500 qualified you for the states.
Yeah.
The top 16 made the short conference, but you know, this whole PowerPoint thing and teams that have a great season, like listen, Keensburg was 16-3 this year, or 16-4, right? When's the last time Keensburg was 16-4?
And they're good. I mean,
They have very
they're not going to the Final Four, but they're a good team that deserves
correct. They could have given somebody a game in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they get penalized for what? Because they're Keensburg? Like, again, something has to be revamped because I think there were a couple of teams that didn't make the short conference that should have.
Mm-hmm. And I like the Coaches Cup. I think it's a good idea. We opted out of it only because we could get two more. We got two games that were a little more playable for us.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you're 500, I don't know why we went away from the 500.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Was it 500 last year too?
Yeah.
So this is okay.
This is the first year of this. And they sort of sprung it on us. Like I didn't even hear about it until the coaches meeting. To be honest,
about the PowerPoints and
about the PowerPoint, about the Coaches Cup,
yeah,
any of it. But again, though, up until November 10th, I really wasn't paying attention to girls basketball or short conference basketball in general. I was going to go.
Right.
I was going to a couple bowl games.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely some things that the state and the shores that with a lot of complaints and then with teams dropping out late because there was a deadline, right? I think
February 1st was the deadline. You had to either opt in or out.
Okay. So and then bumping teams up to the short conference that weren't expecting it. That to me, that's it seems like not a lot of things weren't communicated that should have been communicated, I guess. But who knows? The ADs might have known and not communicated to the coaches. I don't know, but definitely some things that need to be worked on for next season. So, all right. Doug? Anything else you got?
No. Just hope these are pretty good games tomorrow. Hope we get them in and then set up a couple of nice quarterfinal games Saturday. Spend the whole day in Homedale, and hope for some good games.
Yeah, I'm glad the girls are at Homedale. I like that gym better in Mid-South.
Yeah.
So.
Well, especially auxiliary gym at Middletown South.
Hey, they fixed that.
But I'm not going to start that again.
Yeah.
But no, they did the right thing this year. They gave them their own gym. They gave them a great place to play. Homedale's a nice gym. Yeah. And now we just have to get the games to match the site.
Yeah. Uh, one more football question. When do you think it could be a varsity sport for flag football?
So this year it's going to be the same as a club sport. Next year it will be a pilot program. So we're actually going to go through with the PowerPoints and see how everything phases out. And then the year after that, 2027, it's full go.
Okay.
We'll play down to, I think there's going to be three groups, North and South, and we'll play down to a state champion.
Oh,
Nice.
very good.
Yeah.
Very exciting. I went to
So
one
I
game.
have one question also.
Yeah, go ahead.
So your quarterback won the mini Maxwell. All right.
Yes.
Okay, can you explain? We know what the Maxwell Award is, but explain how he got nominated and how he won the mini Maxwell.
So they asked coaches throughout the state, Maryland, Pennsylvania, I'm sorry, Delaware, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey to nominate people, stats, you send in your huddle highlight film, and things they've done in the community. And then there's a panel that sits there, and they select it, and my guy was one of the 50 from New Jersey.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Pretty great.
Congratulations to you too, because listen, we know you do a great job there, and you're going to do a great job with the girls team. Is it ever going to be St. John Vianney? No, but you know what? You can be competitive and win games, and you care, which I've known you a long time. So one thing I love about you is you care. Your clipboard almost got broke the other day against Hudson. I said, I
only have one left.
I wonder if John's going to be the same guy he was when he coached against me, ripping his shirt off, the tie off, whatever. And as soon as you slam the clipboard down, I was like, this team's going to go somewhere.
I'll be honest with you, I'm waiting for Scarlett Lewis and Brianna Antoine to transfer in. No, but you know what? Again, these girls are awesome to work with. They come to work every single day. Excited about it. Just the improvement, like the one girl, number 5, Ava Plant. I don't know if she knew what a basketball was at the start of the year, and she averages 10 rebounds for us.
He had 14 rebounds in your game the other
Roy,
day.
That's Roy. That's little number 13.
Roy. Okay, right.
Guard had 14 rebounds for us the other day, which is freaking awesome. And it's just, I see going forward, having an off season with these girls, getting them in the gym twice a week in the summertime, and just improving on basic skills, and we'll be okay because they do play. They have passion.
The thing I loved about it after the game, at least 2 girls came up to you as I was talking to you, like, what do you think, coach? How did I play? And like, you know what? You want girls like that. You want girls to care, and they want the feedback, and you're honest with them, and you said there's some things we're going to work on in practice. And I'm sure in practice they were looking forward to working on those things. That's what you need to build a program. You need kids with passion and kids that care and want to hear the truth about how they play.
And that's another thing that's huge difference between the boys and the girls. The girls will come seek you out in school. Like I have girls coming up like homeroom, but they're in my homeroom class, whatever. The boys, man, they're trying to avoid you. You see them, the hood's up, they're turning away. It's like, this coach gonna get me on something right now.
For sure.
Hey guys, I don't know if you noticed, I do this thing called the Tierney selfie. So I'm gonna do a little one from this podcast.
Right. I saw you with your youth coach the other day from Hudson.
Yep. So I just took our little selfie. So I'll throw that out there. It's a Tierney selfie. All my teams want to be in it, and it's a fun thing.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
So we can find that on Instagram later.
Oh yeah, about 30 seconds.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Coach, for taking time out today.
Thank you so much for having me.
John, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Giving the Pinelands basketball program a little love, and hopefully one day you guys are talking about us.
Yeah, hopefully.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it.
So have a great day, guys.
All right, John.
Thank you, Coach. All right. Thanks. That was great having him on.
Yeah.
And,
listen, I've known John a long time. He's a great guy. Got a lot of passion. Like I said, didn't spare the clipboard. I was wondering, okay, I hope he has the same passion, coaching the girls. And like I said, that clipboard got slammed down in the first quarter, timeout, 30 seconds in. I said, this team's going somewhere.
I liked what he said about, being able to get them into off season this year, which means he's willing to put the time in,
as long as they stay dedicated, they can go somewhere.
Yeah, good. So, all right. So do you know where you're gonna head? You going to a game tomorrow? I
got to look at the times again because a lot of games are starting at 4. I know. I think RBR is at 5. RBC's at 5:30 and SJV's at 6, if I'm not mistaken. I took a quick look before. And yeah, RBC's 5:30, RBR's 5.
Rainey's at 4.
Manasquan's at 4:30. I'd love to see that game because I think that's, Colts Neck will stay for a little bit. SJV Neptune, is it worth driving up to Holmdel? And the other games are at 4 o'clock. So
Yeah, St. Rose at 4, Howell's at 4.
you know what? I might head up to RBR. I think that game will be pretty good, the RBR Barnegat game. I might be a couple minutes late, but I think that's probably where I'll end up.
Actually, I'm off tomorrow, so I might hit one of the 4 o'clock games.
Yeah.
So I'll figure it out. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Joining us. Hey, there I go
For
again.
me, again, my show.
Damn
me.
it.
All about me.
All about me. So,
a lot of streets in New York named after you, Nick. One way.
So we'll see you. We'll definitely see everybody on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. But looking forward to a lot of good action Saturday.
Yes. So good luck to everybody. And if any of the games got played today, we'll get those scores out to you as soon as we get them. If not, I wonder if they have to play tomorrow.
I wonder how they're going to do that because now if the boys coaches cup and girls coaches cup games got canceled, that's a lot stretching the officiating out even thinner.
It is. Yeah, it's already stretched out. So we'll get some answers. Hopefully, reach out to some coaches, see if they played today. So, but thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you either tomorrow or Saturday.
Good luck tomorrow.